What if the secret to a fulfilling life lies not in striving harder, but in letting go? On the Ancient Wisdom channel, we dive deep into the timeless teachings of Lao Tzu, a sage whose philosophy beckons us to align with the effortless rhythm of the universe. In this exploration, we unravel his profound insights from the Tao Te Ching and beyond, revealing how the cessation of struggle might lead us closer to true success, not the fleeting kind measured by wealth or status, but a lasting harmony with existence itself. Lao Tzu observed that those who stand on tiptoes cannot stand firm, and those who rush forward cannot go far. This video invites you to pause and reflect. Are your efforts pulling you away from the natural flow, or guiding you toward it? Here at Ancient Wisdom, we believe philosophy is not a relic of the past, but a living guide for the present. Lao Tzu's teachings challenge the modern obsession with control and achievement, offering instead a path of Wu Wei action without force, wisdom without strain. Drawing from the Tao Te Ching and the Tao Tzu, we'll explore how human attempts to impose order on life often sow chaos, while surrender to the Tao brings clarity. Whether you're seeking mental resilience, emotional intelligence, or simply a deeper understanding of existence, this journey through Taoist thought promises insights that resonate across centuries. From the futility of chasing happiness to the power of stillness, Lao Tzu's words speak to the heart of human behavior and the soul of the cosmos. Imagine a life where problems resolve themselves, not through toil but through trust in the natural course. This is not laziness, as some might assume, but a radical reorientation toward what is authentic and enduring. We'll examine how societal norms and personal ambitions distort our connection to the Tao, and how Lao Tzu's counsel to act without striving offers a remedy. Stay with us as we weave his ancient wisdom into practical lessons for today, enriched by stories like the king who learned focus through failure. Welcome to Ancient Wisdom, where the past illuminates the present and philosophy becomes a dose of wisdom for life. Lao Tzu, the enigmatic sage of ancient China, offered a philosophy that pierces through the clamor of human striving, revealing a truth as simple as it is elusive: effort, when misdirected, becomes our undoing. His words, etched in the Tao Te Ching, open with a quiet admonition: those who stand on tiptoes cannot stand firm, those who stride forward cannot go far. This is no mere poetic flourish, but a foundational insight into the nature of existence. To stand on tiptoes is to reach beyond one's natural stance, to stretch toward a goal that lies outside the rhythm of life itself. To stride forward, headlong and heedless, is to chase a horizon that recedes with every step. Lao Tzu's observation cuts to the core of our modern malaise, our relentless drive to achieve, to improve, to outshine, only to find ourselves diminished in the process. The Taoist sages, peering through the lens of nature, saw humanity's efforts as a paradox. We labor to brighten our light, yet in our fervor, we dim it. We gather knowledge, chase accolades, and build empires, all while draining the vitality of body and spirit. The result? A life of perpetual dissatisfaction, where the fruits of our toil rot before we can savor them. Lao Tzu and his followers watched as people exhausted themselves in pursuit of a better existence, only to discover that their struggles often eat the shadows they sought to escape. This is not a condemnation of action itself, but of action divorced from the natural order, an order that flows beneath the surface of our ambitions, unnoticed yet omnipresent. At the heart of this philosophy lies the Tao, a concept so vast it defies definition, yet so intimate it pulses in every breath. The sages called it Tao not because the word captures its essence, but because language falters before its mystery. It is the unseen force that animates the cosmos, the silent current that carries galaxies and sparrows alike. Beyond the grasp of senses or intellect, the Tao is known through feeling, through a quiet attunement to its presence. Yet humanity in its hubris seeks to pin it down, to name it, categorize it, control it. Lao Tzu warns that such endeavors are doomed, akin to swimming against a relentless tide. The more we strive to comprehend the incomprehensible, the further we drift from its truth. This impulse to define and dominate reflects a deeper flaw, our alienation from the natural flow. We construct elaborate systems, moral codes, social hierarchies, rituals to impose order on a world that resists our grip. Lao Tzu saw these as artificial veils, obscuring the seamless unity of existence. 5 colors blind the eye, he wrote. 5 tones deafen the ear. 5 flavors dull the tongue. Our fixation on sensory excess and intellectual constructs narrows our perception, trapping us within a cage of our own making. We label experiences good or bad, beautiful or ugly, forgetting that these distinctions are human inventions, not eternal truths. The world in its flux laughs at our rigidity, shifting beneath our feet as we cling to yesterday's certainties. The tragedy of this striving is its futility. We build towers of morality and justice, hoping to secure a stable footing, only to watch them crumble under time's weight. Lao Tzu asks us to consider, what if the pursuit of control is the root of our chaos? The Tao Te Ching suggests that our grand mechanisms, ethical standards, behavioral norms, societal expectations, while born of noble intent, encase us in an unnatural existence. We strain to make the world work better, yet the harder we pull, the tighter the knots become. Nature, meanwhile, unfolds without effort. Rivers carve valleys, winds shape dunes, all without a blueprint or a battle plan. Herein lies the Taoist invitation, to release our grip, to move with the stream rather than against it. This principle, known as Wu Wei, is often misunderstood as passivity, a retreat from life's demands. But Lao Tzu's vision is far richer. Wu Wei is action without force, effort without strain, a state where the do and the deed merge into one harmonious motion. Picture a dancer lost in the rhythm, each step an extension of the music, or a poet whose words flow as if dictated by the wind. This is not idleness but alignment, a way of being that mirrors nature's effortless grace. In Wu Wei, we act not out of resistance but out of resonance, preserving our strength while achieving what brute force cannot. It is the art of not trying, where the absence of struggle becomes the presence of power. To grasp this, reflect on our daily battles. We despise poverty, so we hoard wealth. We dread solitude, so we cling to company. Yet Lao Tzu reminds us that these opposites are twins. Wealth casts poverty's shadow. Companionship reveals loneliness as depth. To banish one is to misunderstand both, for they define each other in the dance of existence. Our interventions, whether personal or societal, often aim to sever this duality, to sculpt a world free of pain or lack. But the Tao Te Ching cautions that such efforts are like pruning a tree. To stop it from growing, the roots remain and the branches return, often wilder than before. True peace lies not in conquest but in coexistence, in seeing the whole rather than its fragments. How do we weave this ancient wisdom into the fabric of modern life? The Taoist texts offer both parable and precept. Consider the reformers, those ardent souls who seek to heal the world's wounds. Lao Tzu might call them unwitting disruptors, not for their aims, but for their methods. In their quest to impose a human vision of goodness, they fracture the natural order, stirring discord where harmony once reigned. The Tao Te Ching declares, "He who would rule the world and control it, I see he cannot succeed." The world is a sacred vessel, it cannot be grasped. To meddle is to mar, to force is to fracture. This echoes in our age, where champions of justice, though well-meaning, often deep and divides by demonizing foes and exalting themselves. Lao Tzu's alternative is subtle but radical. Improve not by imposition but by example, not by strife but by stillness. Another futile chase is happiness. We pin it to milestones, money in the bank, a book in print, a YouTube channel like Ancient Wisdom, hitting 100,000 subscribers. Yet these victories spark only fleeting joy, not the enduring serenity of the Tao. The Changti's EU tells of a centipede envying a snake's limbless glide, the snake coveting the wind's boundless sweep, each blind to its own perfection. So we too strain to become what we are, not altering skin tones, chasing trends, bending to societal molds. Lao Tzu's EU counters that happiness is not a prize to be won but a state to inhabit, found in embracing our natural form within the vast web of being. To be content as ourselves, unmarked by the world's demands, is to touch the Tao's quiet joy. This acceptance extends inward. To know others is intelligence, Lao Tzu writes. To know oneself is wisdom. To conquer others requires strength. To conquer oneself demands power. We chase external triumphs, wealth, status, acclaim, while the true battle rages within. Here, Lao Tzu's thought brushes against Taoism's shores, where Marcus Aurelius urged mastery of the mind as life's highest art. Yet Taoism softens this discipline with fluidity, less a clenched fist than an open hand. To win oneself is to release the need to prove, to find stillness in life's whirlwinds. It is a victory not over enemies but over the ego's restless clamor. A vivid tale illuminates this. A king, his mind a tempest of ambition, sought Lao Tzu's counsel. Expecting lofty doctrines, he found the sage tending a humble garden. "How can I still my restless thoughts?" the king pleaded. Lao Tzu set a task: water 3 trees before dawn, focusing only on the act, restarting if a thought arose. The king, schooled in command, stumbled, his mind leapt to palaces, wars, victories. As bled into sunrise, sweat soaked his robes. Exhausted, he slumped, defeated by his own distraction. Lao Tzu emerged. A mind cleansed of thought holds infinite strength. Without focus, even simplicity escapes you. Chastened, the king vowed to train his attention, not to flee life's burdens, but to meet them with presence. This story unveils a practical truth. Concentration, rooted in stillness, is wisdom's wellspring. Lao Tzu and the Buddha, though distant in time, converge here. Both saw thought as a shroud over reality. To silence the mind is to engage the moment fully, whether tending plants or facing modernity's tumult. This practice, Lao Tzu suggests, eases weariness, sharpens clarity, and untangles knots not by force but by flow. When problems loom, he advises, breathe, act, let worry dissolve. The universe will whisper solutions in the quiet. Lao Tzu's aphorisms, scattered across the Tao Te Ching, deepen this vision. To gain all, abandon all. A call to shed attachments, not to lack, but to receive. When you know all things change, cling to nothing. Impermanence as liberation, not loss. Victory over others brings turmoil. Victory over self brings peace. Inner triumph as the truest conquest. These resonate with Stoic resolve, Nietzschean defiance, and mindfulness calm, offering a philosophical serum for a world drunk on effort. The sage's life, veiled in legend, mirrors his doctrine. Born, some claim, with white hair after decades in the womb, Lao Tzu vanished westward, bequeathing the Tao Te Ching as his legacy. Whether fact or fable, his anonymity reflects his creed: act without credit, live without trace. The text, a mere 5,000 characters, unfolds a cosmos where the Tao births all and Ti nurtures it. The Tao is void and substance, nameless yet naming, formless yet forming. Ti is its breath, the virtue flowing through each being, guiding without command. This dance of Tao and Ti offers a metaphysics both mystical and grounded. The Tao's motion cyclical, eternal echoes nature's tides. Things emerge, peak, return, a rhythm where extremes balance. Hardness signals death, softness cradles life, rigidity shatters, flexibility endures. Lao Tzu's leader rules not by decree but by presence, lifting others by standing beneath a foil to ego's clamor. His words, brief yet boundless, demand we linger, each line a portal to deeper truth. For today's seeker, Lao Tzu's path is both challenge and refuge. It bids us unlearn, shedding knowledge as we gain it, embracing the unknown as kin. This fasting of the mind clears the noise, opening us to the Tao's soft voice. Happiness, then, is not chased but lived, found in enough, not more. He who knows he has enough is rich, Lao Tzu proclaims, slicing through our culture of want. This philosophy transcends its roots, touching stoic grit, Nietzschean rebellion, and mindfulness now. It is a remedy for a world tethered to striving, a reminder that not trying is, in truth, the deepest effort of all. Yet Lao Tzu's wisdom is not a monolith, it invites expansion. Consider its resonance with existentialism's quest for meaning. Where Sartre saw a void to fill with choice, Lao Tzu sees a fullness to join, an absurd struggle versus a sacred flow. Or take Kant's categorical imperative, urging duty as reason's crown. Lao Tzu might smile, suggesting duty to the Tao Rum's duty to the self. These dialogues enrich his thought, proving its elasticity across epochs. Let's delve deeper into Wu Wei. Beyond dance or poetry, it's the farmer planting with the seasons, the parent guiding without dictating. It's not inertia but intuition, knowing when to act, when to wait. Contrast this with our age's hustle, endless tasks, notifications, goals. Lao Tzu would ask, what do we gain by outrunning ourselves? The answer lies in nature's patience. Trees grow without haste, rivers reach the sea without sprinting. Wu Wei is trust in this pace, a faith that effort aligns when we align. The Chang Tzu amplifies this with whimsy. A butcher carves an ox with such grace that his knife never dulls, each cut follows the meat's grain, not his will. This is Wu Wei in flesh, skill honed to instinct, force replaced by flow. Apply this to life, work, love, art. How often do we hack instead of glide, pushing against rather than with? Lao Tzu's butcher teaches us to listen, to feel the grain, to let the task shape the tool. Now revisit happiness. Our culture equates it with peaks, weddings, promotions, viral fame. Lao Tzu shifts the frame. It's the valley, the quiet between. Not euphoria, but equilibrium. The Tao Te Ching muses, the sage desires to have no desires, not apathy, but freedom from craving's churn. Imagine a day without want, not dull, but full, each moment sufficient. This is happiness as being, not having a state modernity overlooks in its rush for more. King's Tale, too, deserves more. His failure wasn't weakness but revelation. Every stray thought a mirror to his unrest. Lao Tzu didn't demand perfection, he exposed the mind's habits. Each restart was a lesson. Focus is forged in relapse, not triumph. Today, we'd call this mindfulness, watching thoughts without clinging. Lao Tzu calls it strength, a muscle built by stillness, not strain. Try it, wash dishes, walk, breathe, let the mind wander, then reel it back. The power lies in the return. This extends to leadership. Lao Tzu's ruler governs by emptying himself, ego dissolves, others rise. Contrast this with tyrants shouting from thrones, or CEOs chasing quarterly wins. The sage leads like water, low, yielding, yet carving stone. In teams, families, nations, this shifts power from force to influence. Imagine a world, lead thus, less noise, more flow. Lao Tzu's vision isn't utopian, it's primal, rooted in what already works. His cosmology, too, unfolds further. The Tao's dual nature, void and source, mirrors quantum ambiguity, nothing and everything entwined. Science probes origins. Lao Tzu feels them both, seek the unnamable. Tia's virtue isn't moral pomp but vitality, the spark in every leaf, every child. Together, they form a cycle: birth, growth, return. This isn't fatalism but dynamism, each end a seed. Lao Tzu's universe breathes, and we're its exhale. Practically, this reshapes daily life. Stuck in traffic? Don't curse flow. Facing conflict, don't clash, yield, then redirect. Overwhelmed, don't pile on, PR down. Lao Tzu used not escapist, his strategic energy saved, his power gained. The Tao Te Ching whispers, soft overcomes hard, a judo of the soul, using life's weight against itself. Test it, next time anger flares, pause, breathe, let it pass. The calm that follows is victory. His sayings multiply in meaning. Speak less, say more, not silence, but wait. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, not haste, but now. He who knows he doesn't know is wise, not ignorance, but humility. Each is a cone, unraveling with time. Compare Nietzsche's Become Who You Are, both seek authenticity, yet Lao Tzu use WAP, struggle for surrender. Or Marcus Aurelius's You Have Power Over Your Mind, both prize control, yet Lao Tzu uses softer, less gripped. Lao Tzu use obscurity fuels his depth. Was he a librarian, a wanderer, a myth? Does it matter? Desirosua proves his point, fame fades, wisdom lasts. The Tao Te Ching's brevity, 5,000 words, belies its infinity. Each line bends light, refracting new hues. Read it yearly, it shifts with you. This isn't dogma but dialogue, a mirror for the reader's soul. For us his gift is perspective. Against screens and schedules, he offers silence. Against division, unity. Against exhaustion, ease. He doesn't solve life's riddles, he dissolves them, showing the questions were ours all along. This is philosophy for life, not abstract, but alive, a pulse beneath our rush. Lao Tzu's teachings, illuminated on ancient wisdom, distill a timeless truth. Life thrives not in resistance, but in harmony with its natural beat. From the Tao Te Ching's poetic depths to the Chang Tzu's playful tales, we've traced how striving pulls us from the Tao, while effortless action draws us near. This isn't defeat but strength, resilience through alignment, peace through presence. Whether taming a restless mind or relinquishing happiness's chase, Lao Tzu offers a map for living with grace. What struck you most? Drop your thoughts below, your voice enriches our tapestry. If this journey moved you, like, share, and subscribe to Ancient Wisdom for more explorations of eternal truths. Next, join us with guests Liam and Sophia, who'll share how Lao Tzu shapes their lives right after this. Thank you for joining us. Your presence keeps the flame of wisdom burning.
Ever feel like you're just spinning your wheels, working and working, but not really getting anywhere?
It's a feeling a lot of us experience.
It's like I was stuck on a treadmill until I stumbled upon Lao Tzu.
Lao Tzu.
You know, the ancient Chinese sage. He had some pretty radical ideas about effortless living, and today we're going deep into his philosophy.
Sounds intriguing.
We've got this video, Ancient Wisdom, and a few other sources that explore how his teachings apply today.
Applying ancient wisdom to modern life? I like it.
Get ready to rethink everything you thought you knew about success and happiness. This is where things get really interesting.
So how does Lao Tzu challenge our modern ideas about success?
Well, he goes right to the heart of it. He suggests that our constant striving, that relentless push for more, might actually be holding us back.
Really, isn't striving seen as a positive thing? Setting goals, pushing limits, all that.
That's what we're told, right? But Lao Tzu, in texts like the Tao Te Ching, makes a fascinating observation. He says, "Those who stand on tiptoes cannot stand firm. Those who stride forward cannot go far."
I see. It's like he's highlighting a paradox. The harder we push, the less stable we become.
Exactly. Imagine a tree that grows too fast, reaching for the sun with all its might. It becomes top-heavy and unstable, likely to topple over.
Okay, I'm starting to see the problem with forcing things. But how do we shift our approach? Our society seems built on this idea of constant striving.
Right. And that's where understanding the Tao comes in.
The Tao. Now, that's a big one.
It is, right. It's often described as this universal force, the natural order of the cosmos. It's not something you control. It's about aligning yourself with its flow.
Okay, I'm trying to picture this.
Think of a river. You can fight against the current, exhaust yourself trying to swim upstream, or you can surrender to the flow and be carried downstream effortlessly.
That's a helpful image. But how do we know what the flow of the Tao is? How can we tell if we're fighting or flowing?
That's a great question. Lao Tzu believed that the structures we create, the systems we use to organize our lives, actually disconnect us from the natural flow of the Tao.
The very systems meant to help us.
He's talking about things like rigid legal systems that try to impose order through punishment or strict social hierarchies that limit potential.
Interesting. But don't those systems have value?
Of course. But Lao Tzu believed that while seemingly helpful, they can cloud our perception and prevent us from seeing the world in its natural state.
So it's almost like we've built barriers between ourselves and the Tao. But if we can't rely on these structures, how do we make decisions? How do we avoid chaos?
It's not about abandoning structure entirely, but recognizing when it hinders our connection to the Tao. Lao Tzu might say that by stripping away those layers of control, by letting go of our need to define and categorize everything, we become more attuned to the subtle wisdom of the Tao.
Letting go of control, that's a tough one.
He uses this vivid imagery in the Tao Te Ching. He says, 5 colors blind the eye, 5 tones deafen the ear, 5 flavors dull the tongue. He suggests our pursuit of sensory stimulation and intellectual analysis can actually limit our perception.
Okay, I see what you mean. It's like we're so busy trying to grasp and control everything that we miss the bigger picture.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of Lao Tzu's most profound principles, Wu Wei.
Wu Wei.
It's often translated as action without force or effortless action. It's about aligning our actions with the natural flow of the Tao rather than imposing our will upon it.
So instead of forcing things, we try to move with the current.
Imagine a skilled archer. They draw back the bowstring, aim with precision, and release the arrow with effortless grace. There's no struggle, just a perfect harmony between intention and action.
That's a beautiful image. But archery seems pretty straightforward compared to, the complexities of real life.
Right. Like, how does this apply to running a business or raising a family? Our source, Ancient Wisdom, gives some pretty interesting examples.
Like what?
Well, it dives into how Wu Wei can apply to situations like, say, social activism. Let's say you're passionate about making a difference in the world.
Okay, I can see that.
Lao Tzu might caution against trying to force your vision of a better world onto others. He might suggest leading by example, allowing change to unfold organically.
So instead of trying to control the outcome, we plant the seeds and trust the process, like that. But what about situations that require immediate action?
You're hitting on an important point. Wu Wei isn't about passivity. It's about knowing when to act decisively and when to step back and allow things to unfold.
I see, so it's a balance.
Even in situations that demand immediate action, Wu Wei encourages acting with a clear mind, free from panic or attachment to a specific outcome.
So it's not about never taking action. It's about aligning our actions with the flow, even in chaotic situations. But how do we develop that awareness? How do we know the right course of action in each moment?
Well, the Ancient Wisdom video gets even deeper here. It tells the story of a king who sought Lao Tzu's advice on how to calm his restless mind.
Okay, calming a restless mind. I can relate to that. What did Lao Tzu suggest?
Lao Tzu gave him a task, a seemingly simple one. Water 3 trees every morning before sunrise, restarting every time a thought entered his mind.
Wait, restarting every time he had a thought. That sounds impossible.
The king struggled too. He was used to commanding, controlling, strategizing. This quieting his mind, it felt impossible.
So what was the point of this impossible task?
Lao Tzu was illustrating the power of stillness. That ability to quiet the mental chatter to access a deeper level of awareness, this stillness, this being fully present, it's essential for practicing Wu Wei.
So even watering trees can be a profound lesson. But how do we cultivate that stillness in our busy lives?
The Ancient Wisdom video suggests recognizing and releasing our attachment to outcomes. The king was so focused on achieving the perfect watering without distractions that he lost sight of the present moment, of the simple act itself.
So it's about shifting focus from the outcome to the process. That sounds difficult in our achievement-obsessed culture.
It is. It goes against so much of what we're taught about success and happiness. But Lao Tzu might argue this striving is the root of much of our suffering.
Letting go of that need to control. That's a radical idea.
It is. By letting go, we open ourselves to a deeper peace and fulfillment.
This is fascinating. It's a whole new way of looking at the world. But before we go any further, I'm curious about those famous sayings of Lao Tzu's. From the Tao Te Ching.
Yes. Those little nuggets of wisdom, they're full of such depth.
And they connect to ideas and philosophies that emerged centuries later. For example, his focus on self-mastery and inner peace Reminds me of Stoicism.
Stoicism, that's all about resilience and accepting what you can't control, right?
Exactly. Lao Tzu, like the Stoics, believed true strength comes from conquering our own minds rather than trying to control external circumstances.
So it's about finding that inner stillness, that calm center, even in chaos.
Precisely. And it connects to another modern concept, mindfulness.
Mindfulness, being present in the moment.
You got it. Like the Buddha centuries later, Lao Tzu recognized that our thoughts can be a source of suffering. He believed quieting the mind, observing thoughts without judgment, allows us to tap into a deeper sense of peace.
This is all so interconnected. Lao Tzu, Stoicism, mindfulness, they all point toward a more fulfilling and harmonious way of life.
It speaks to the universality of Lao Tzu's wisdom. His teachings transcend time and culture, offering insights that resonate with people from all walks of life.
We could talk about this for hours, but we're running out of time for part one.
We're back and ready to delve deeper into this concept of effortless living.
It's truly a paradigm shift, turning everything we think we know about achievement upside down.
Lao Tzu was a master of challenging conventional wisdom, and his writings are packed with those thought-provoking aphorisms.
Yes, those aphorisms. You mentioned one earlier, something about abandoning all to gain all. It's been swirling in my mind ever since.
It's one of those sayings with layers upon layers of meaning. It seems paradoxical, doesn't it?
It does. How can we gain everything by giving up everything? It goes against everything we're taught about ambition and success.
Lao Tzu might say that what we believe we gain through constant striving is often an illusion. It's like chasing a mirage. You think you're getting closer, but it's always out of reach.
So what exactly is he suggesting? We abandon our possessions, our ambitions?
It's more about abandoning our attachment to those things, recognizing that true happiness and fulfillment don't rely on external factors, on acquiring more or achieving a certain status.
That's a difficult concept to grasp, especially when our society seems built on striving for more.
It's deeply ingrained in our culture. But Lao Tzu might argue that this endless pursuit of more is a source of suffering. It's a hamster wheel, lots of running, but no real progress.
So if we're not supposed to strive for more, what are we supposed to do? Just let life happen to us?
No, it's not about passivity or resignation. This is where Wu Wei comes back in. It's about aligning our actions with the natural flow of the Tao, recognizing a deeper intelligence at work in the universe, a natural order we can tap into when we surrender to it.
But isn't surrender a passive act? How can we be powerful by surrendering?
That's the paradox. Lao Tzu suggests that true power lies in letting go of control, trusting the process, allowing things to unfold even if it doesn't match our desires or expectations.
So it's about accepting what is rather than resisting.
Precisely. And this acceptance isn't resignation or apathy. It's acknowledging the reality of the present moment without judgment or resistance. It's from this place of acceptance that we can act with clarity and wisdom.
That makes sense. But how do we cultivate this kind of acceptance, especially when faced with challenges?
That's where mindfulness practices can be incredibly helpful. Mindfulness, at its core, is cultivating present moment awareness, observing our thoughts and feelings without being swept away by them.
So instead of reacting impulsively, we pause, observe our inner state, and then choose how to respond.
Exactly. This mindful awareness allows us to see things more clearly, act with intention and purpose. It's like creating space between the stimulus and our reaction, allowing wisdom and compassion to guide our actions.
This all connects back to Lao Tzu's influence on Stoicism and mindfulness. They're all different facets of the same gem, different paths leading to the same peak.
I love that analogy. It highlights the timeless nature of Lao Tzu's wisdom. His teachings offer a path to a more fulfilling and harmonious way of being, aligning ourselves with the universe's natural flow.
It's amazing that a philosophy from thousands of years ago can still be so relevant today.
I agree. Lao Tzu tapped into something fundamental about human nature, our relationship with the world. His teachings are a timeless antidote to the stress of modern life.
So for someone overwhelmed by the pressure to achieve, where do they begin incorporating Lao Tzu's principles?
You start small. Find moments of stillness throughout your day, even just a few minutes of conscious breathing, sitting in nature, or observing your thoughts without judgment. These small steps can be powerful.
So instead of a complete life overhaul, we focus on integrating these small practices, these moments of mindfulness and alignment with the Tao.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a new way of seeing the world, a new way of relating to ourselves and everything around us. This shift in perspective can change how we live, make decisions, interact, and find fulfillment.
That's encouraging. It makes effortless living feel more attainable.
It is. It's a journey that unfolds gradually with each moment of awareness, each act of surrender to the wisdom of the Tao.
This deep dive has been incredibly enlightening. I'm seeing how Lao Tzu's philosophy is more than just teachings. It's a practical guide to navigating modern life with more ease and grace.
Absolutely. It's a journey open to all of us.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Lao Tzu's philosophy. It's all about effortless living, remember.
And we've covered some pretty thought-provoking stuff.
We have, from the idea that striving can hold us back to that concept of Wu Wei, aligning with the flow.
But how do we make this ancient wisdom work in the real world?
Exactly. And to help us with that, we've got two amazing guests.
Liam, a musician, and Sophia, a writer and mindfulness teacher.
They both have a deep understanding of these ancient principles and how to apply them to life today.
Liam, Sophia, welcome to the deep dive.
So Liam, let's start with you. You've talked about how Lao Tzu's ideas have influenced your music.
Oh, absolutely.
What does that look like? How does that actually work?
Well, for me, Wu Wei in music is all about letting go of the ego.
Letting go of the ego.
Yeah, that need to force a specific outcome or to try and control every note.
Yeah, you get that.
It's about being present with the instrument, listening to the music that wants to emerge rather than trying to impose my will.
So it's more of a collaboration with the music itself.
That's a great way to put it. It becomes so much more intuitive, more organic.
Mm.
When I can get out of my own way and let the music flow through me, that's when the magic happens.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sophia, how about you? How do you see the connection between Lao Tzu's teachings and mindfulness?
Well, for me, mindfulness is a gateway to understanding and actually embodying Lao Tzu's wisdom.
Okay, how so?
When we cultivate that present moment awareness, we start to see the world differently. We notice the interconnectedness of everything, that constant flow of energy that Lao Tzu called the Tao.
So mindfulness helps us to become more aware of the Tao, to tune into those natural rhythms of life.
Yes, it helps us let go of our rigid ideas about how things should be and embrace the present moment just as it is.
That's so powerful.
And from that place of acceptance, we can start to act with more wisdom and compassion in alignment with that natural flow.
So you've both found ways to integrate Lao Tzu's principles into your creative work and your personal lives.
For our listeners just starting to explore these ideas, what advice would you offer?
Start small, really. Just find those moments of stillness throughout the day. Even a few minutes of conscious breathing or just sitting in nature, it can make a big difference.
Connecting back to that inner peace.
And remember that effortless living, it's not about being passive or giving up on your goals.
Right, it's not about doing nothing.
It's about finding a way to act in harmony with life. Embrace the journey, not just the destination.
That's beautiful. Liam, Sophia, thank you both so much for sharing your insights. It's been truly inspiring.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Lao Tzu's philosophy. I hope you found it as eye-opening as we have.
It's been a real journey, and as we wrap up, we'll leave you with this question to ponder. How can you cultivate a bit more of that effortless action in your own life?
What small steps can you take today to align with that natural flow of the Tao? Remember, true strength comes from stillness, not striving. Until next time, keep diving deep.